ask you about Amish schooling, a lot of you probably would not know what I mean. Other schooling consists of a high school with multiple classrooms, teachers with college educations, and a bunch of different students from different cultural backgrounds together learning different subjects. I've learned a lot about Amish schooling with the research I have done and found it to be very interesting. Today I will be telling you about the history of Amish schooling, differences it has in regular public schools, benefits it has to their society and to ours, and how their communication affects their everyday life. According to WelcomeToLancasterCounty.com, a website which specializes in Amish history about their schooling, their main goal is to keep their children home and to keep them from thinking critically and to have them stay in their community. Originally, Amish parents kept their children home, which resulted in their arrest for not obeying state attendance laws. To combat this, Amish parents built their own one-room schoolhouses to allow for their own education to take place in their communities. The U.S. government initiated the Amish vocational program, which allowed for Amish students to only attend school up to the age of 14, different than regular public schooling. On May 15, 1972, the U.S. exempted Amish from the state attendance laws, which allowed for all Amish schooling to be legal and to take place. According to ExploringAmishCountry.com, there are many differences in Amish schooling versus public schooling. Number one is their social construction. They only teach reading, writing, arithmetic, history, and English, which is very different than regular public schooling, which teaches a variety of different subjects and also offers advanced courses. Their teacher also only has an 8th grade education, which is very different than regular public schooling, where the teachers must have at least a bachelor's degree in order to teach classes. Also, their influences are very different. Their religious beliefs dictate everything that goes on. Their church oversees all activities and basically acts as one big principal to govern everything that happens within the school. Also, every day their schooling starts with prayer and religious devotion, which reminds them why they are there in the first place, which is to devote all their time and energy to God. Number 3 is their governing. The school board acts as basically another principal, which is made up of parents, teachers, and various community members. There's also very little to no government influence. The U.S. government basically controls everything that happens within the regular public schools and has the Department of Education, which oversees everything. Also, in Amish schooling, there is much stricter discipline. Physical punishments are not a rare commodity and happen frequently when students misbehave. The benefits of Amish schooling also are very interesting. Number 1, the society benefits by keeping children in the lifestyle. By not allowing the children to go to regular public schooling and allowing them to think critically, they will stay in the Amish community and believe that that's the only thing that they should and can do. Also, it is very low cost and efficient for the Amish communities. With only a one-room schoolhouse, there is not much to heat or not many teachers to pay in order to keep the Amish schooling going. Also, the Amish schooling offers just basic skills and no unnecessary information. With just these basic skills, it allows the students to just be ready for their Amish lifestyle and not be able to think critically in order for them to leave the community. It also bonds the community as a whole. With all the students going to the same teacher, same school, and the same community, all students can relate to everything that happens within the school. It also benefits other U.S. societies as well. It lowers the overall expenses of public costs for schooling. It is cheaper for the U.S. government in order for less textbooks, less teachers, and less different meals for the lunch program for these Amish kids. It also allows for other students to learn about this Amish lifestyle and for other teachers to learn different schooling techniques for these Amish. With all of their differences in education, their communication is also drastically affected. Since they only communicate within their own community, a lot of times they have different customs or ways of communicating that we might not know. When communicating with Amish, the number 1 thing to remember is to not make any anti-religious remarks. All Amish might take this as a threat and may be offended or may not communicate with you anymore at all. Amish may also stare. When they stare, they're just looking at something that is different than them, which we do as well. Since we have a different culture and way of life, they may look at us as being different or even possibly weird. One thing to remember with Amish is they have a tradition of being friendly. They might talk with you, and you can talk with them back, and maybe even ask them about their culture. A lot of times they're willing to talk with you about their way of life as long as you don't make any undermining remarks. Ultimately, I hope you learned a lot about Amish education and their schooling. Just know that their schooling may be different, but also reaches a common goal of making the students learn enough knowledge to succeed in life. Even though they may be different than us, we can learn a lot of valuable things from their schooling and maybe initiate them into our schooling.